There's a lot of noise out there about setting up LLCs, and I'm here to cut through the hype. I'm Mark Kohler, CPA and attorney, and after helping thousands of business owners and investors, I can tell you this: setting up an LLC too early or when you don't really need one can cause more headache than it solves. In this video, I'll help you understand exactly when it makes sense to set up an LLC, what benefits you get, and the common mistakes to avoid, so you don't waste your time or money on unnecessary legal structures. If you want to protect your assets, build your business the right way, save taxes, and avoid overspending, keep watching. What is an LLC, really? Well, LLC stands for Limited Liability Company, not Limited Liability Corporation. You'll hear that sometimes. And its main job is protecting your personal assets from your business liabilities. Now, it can be a tax-saving tool in that you can convert to an S-Corp when the time is right. Having an LLC right when you start your business can be critical for the tax savings opportunity that can come later. But if you don't set up the LLC, then you're going to miss out on those tax savings benefits when you need them. But bottom line, an LLC does not save taxes in and of itself. It's like S Corporation insurance. So we can convert it to an S Corporation when the time is right. Now, back to the asset protection piece. When someone sues your business, they can only go after what's inside the LLC. Now, that's if you set up the LLC properly, maintained it correctly, and you've been operating it properly. If not, that LLC does you no good whatsoever. But if you've done it right, and it's not rocket science, don't worry, I'll walk you through it, then they can't even touch your personal bank account, your home, or any of your assets. They can only go after what's in the LLC. Now, number two, when do you pull the trigger on this LLC? And I have several important points or concepts on when that LLC needs to be started. First, easy schmeezy. If you already own a rental property, you should be transferring that rental property into a newly formed LLC. And do not worry about the mortgage that you may have signed. Banks do not care if the underlying ownership is still you. So you set up a new LLC and you're going to transfer that rental property into it. There's no reason to wait. You need that asset protection because anybody that goes to that rental property or any tenant can sue your personal assets, and you don't want to be liable for any tenant lawsuits. Next, let's talk about the rental property that you're planning to buy. Well, if you're not sure where it's going to be and you're out shopping for a rental property, I don't want you to set up the LLC yet. For example, let's say you live in Arizona and you're looking at a rental property in Tennessee. You're also looking at a rental property in Georgia. Oh, maybe down in Florida. Well, until you actually make an offer and closing seems to be happening around the corner, then that's when we set up the LLC, and we set it up in the state where your rental property is going to be. Down the road, we might do some more advanced planning with Wyoming and Nevada and all that crap. But don't get sucked into an LLC in another state. Set up the LLC in the state where the rental property is going to be once you know you're going to close. Now, if you have an operational business, you've got a little restaurant, you're a contractor, you're doing some consulting, you're selling a product or a service, you're still going to get that asset protection. But now I'm worried about taxes. So if we're setting up that LLC now for our operational business, you want to be talking to your tax advisor every 3 to 6 months and giving a report on, hey, things are really taking off. And I'll tell you now, if you're going to make $50,000 or more net, boom, you should be an S-Corp. So we want to backdate to the beginning of the year and grab the whole year. And that's how the LLC becomes S-Corp insurance. It's going to save you taxes when you need it. But when you're just starting out, you're going to be a sole proprietorship with that LLC, and you're going to get all the write-offs you would with any entity. So get the LLC in place right away when you start that small business so that we can go back in time if we need to. Now, if you're just testing an idea or doing some hobby work and you're not really going to make a lot of money out of the gate, then you likely don't need an LLC yet. Prematurely setting up an LLC can lead to extra fees and paperwork and complications, and we want to avoid that at all costs. Number three, let's talk about some common misconceptions that may cause you to set up that LLC prematurely. Number one, some companies are just going to sell LLC packages. They're going to use fear tactics. They're going to tell you need to have an LLC if you want to have a business. Nobody that sets up a business doesn't start with an LLC. You got to get started now, and they're going to scare you or pressure you into an LLC. Please, if you feel any pressure at all, that's when you should stop and get a second opinion. Next, Setting up too many LLCs can actually create unnecessary burdens and costs. We want to avoid that as well. So don't think you need to have an LLC for every rental property or every business you're doing. One LLC could be a great place to start until you expand. And when that starts to happen, you're going to have the advice of a lawyer or an accountant to help you through that process on when you set up that second or third LLC. Next, I want you to be careful with privacy. Putting your personal address out there when you set up the LLC. You're going to have a registered agent. You're going to have a business address for that LLC just to register it. I would caution you about putting out your own home address. When you have your personal address out there, you're going to get inundated with mail, and there might be customers, tenants, or others that it could invade your personal space if they're upset at you. They can find you more easily. Be careful about putting your home address out there. I'd love to see you as the manager, but don't get your address on public record. Another mistake is setting up a member-managed LLC. We do not want a member-managed LLC because then you have to disclose to the public all the members of the LLC. I want it to be a manager-managed LLC. Then I can change membership or not even have to file anything with the state. I could put in your trust, I could put in another LLC, an investor, a partner, a family member. All of that can be private. So always set up a manager-managed LLC. Now, number 4 is how to properly set up and maintain your LLC. This is absolutely critical. Let me take you through some points here that are going to save you so much money and give you a much better LLC in the process. Number 1, you set it up properly where you're supposed to set it up. Number 2, you have all the proper pieces and parts to setting up an LLC. It's not just one sheet of paper. You need that operating agreement, membership certificates, all the pieces. Number 3, you set up a bank account and treat that LLC business, that business inside the LLC, separate from your personal bank account. Number 4, you maintain that LLC every year by understanding what the Secretary of State for that state needs on the annual registration. And number 5, you do annual minutes, meaning you have a board meeting, which I love to talk about, and I'm sure you've seen other videos on this. So you have that annual board meeting with your family, your loved ones. Number 6, you use the LLC as a separate entity. It should be the name on the contracts, not your name. It should be the name on title to the rental property if it holds rental property. Let the LLC do the business. And finally, number 7, treat it separately from your own personal life. Let everybody know you have an LLC. You're the manager of this LLC. It should have its own website. You should have business cards. You should be using that LLC as the face of your business. That's going to give you the asset protection. So before we even get into the when, you want to make sure that you're maintaining that LLC the minute you take off. Now, number 5, when might you not need an LLC yet? Well, I've already talked about the fact if you're just doing a side hustle or a hobby, no real risk or plans for big income, let's not worry about that LLC yet. And remember, you can always grow into that LLC and set it up at any time. So let's not rush into it. And let's make sure we don't get sucked into these complex structures due to scare tactics either. We don't need multiple entities in multiple states when we come right out of the gate with our small business. Let's be careful and be safe. Thanks for watching. And if you're ready to set up your LLC the right way, or you've already set one up and it needs to get tweaked, or finally you're unsure if now is the right time, please contact our team at KKOS Lawyers. We'll help you figure out the best structure for your business, keep your costs reasonable, and give you peace of mind. The link is in the description below. If this video helped you, please hit like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss future tips to help your business thrive and better help you live your American dream. I'm Mark Kohler. See you next time.